हेलो फ्रेंड्स, सो वेलकम बैक टू लेक्चर 4 ऑफ ऑडिटिंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स। ठीक है, तो ये हम कर रहे हैं सीएमए इंटरमीडिएट जून 2022 अटेम्प्ट के लिए। सो दिस इज लेक्चर 4 ऑफ ऑडिटिंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम वेयर वी हैड लेफ्ट. लास्ट टाइम we had done little bit of scope of auditing. Okay, and from here we have to do. Let's start from here. I'll tell you little bit about scope of auditing. ठीक है, तो यहाँ हमने क्या देखा था स्कोप ऑफ ऑडिटिंग में कि ऑडिटर के दायरे में क्या क्या आता है, काम के दायरे में क्या क्या आता है. ओके, that is nothing but the scope of auditing. Okay, what is the um, what is the work which the auditor should be doing, okay, and what he should not be doing. So what he should not be doing, one point we had seen here. Okay, and that was he should not be doing anything which is beyond the scope of his competence. Okay, so he should not be doing what is beyond the scope of his competence, like anything which is specializing, which is a legal specialization. Okay, he wants to know about any specific case law or anything. Okay, whether it is applicable or not, and he should not do it himself. Okay, right. This is one part, and then in the end, we had seen that the types of opinions he can express based on how much detail he could go into the transactions. Okay, one is unqualified opinion. So in the last lecture, I'd explained you all this: unqualified opinion, qualified opinion, disclaimer of opinion. Okay, and there's one more which is adverse opinion. Okay, okay. So now if we continue from here, we have to continue now. Okay. Now, for the standards on auditing, statement of standards on auditing, SA 200, it talks about the objectives and scope of audit of financial statements. Okay, so it says that the scope will be determined with regard to the engagement, terms of the engagement, that is whatever his client is asking him to do, that is the scope of engagement. Then legislations, okay, all legislations, all laws, okay, that are applicable, and pronouncements of ICAI. Okay, so there, whatever it is, be it your accounting standards, AS or SA, all those things, okay, it comes under pronouncement of ICAI, right? And legislations is the law and all, and terms of engagement is whatever work the client is asking him to do. Okay, so his overall scope is determined based on these three. Okay, but here you have to be careful about one thing, that the scope of engagement, what the client says, it cannot be against legislation and pronouncement of ICAI. So this cannot be against legislation or against ICAI. Okay, and last thing is, so now auditors work now mainly, okay, it involves judgment. Okay, for example, what we said is, what does he do at the very beginning? He sees whether the internal control is proper or not. है ना, सबसे पहले क्या देखता हूँ, इंटरनल कंट्रोल ठीक है कि नहीं, उसके बेसिस में उसको आइडिया आता है कि नहीं ट्रांजैक्शंस कितने हद तक अच्छे हैं करके. ओके, so he makes a judgment based on the internal control, right? And then he also talks to the management and all, and he tries to find out how reliable are they. Okay, so then he can decide on the extent of which management estimates can be relied on, how much he can rely on the management, right? So all this, if we see, you mean that much of the evidence that he has, okay, all the evidence which he has, okay, it enables him to draw only a reasonable conclusion, not a 100% conclusion, because he has to base his work on adequacy of internal control and reliability of management. Okay, so which is why absolute certainty is not attainable in auditing. Okay, you cannot have absolute certainty. Another way to see, क्या आप और एक तरीके से देख सकते हो absolute certainty क्या है, ठीक है, अगर ये पूरे आपके ट्रांजैक्शंस है, मान लीजिए एक साल में आपके 1 मिलियन ट्रांजैक्शंस हुए हैं, तो ऑडिटर सारे तो नहीं देख सकता ना. ओके, so which is why you cannot say that there will be absolute certainty. Okay, there will only be reasonable certainty in auditing. Okay, so this was about SA 200 objectives and scope of audit of financial statements. Next, we'll talk about relationship and distinction between accounting and auditing. Okay, let's first talk about relationship. Okay, relationship, and then we'll see the distinction, how they are related. So accounting, this is auditing. Accounting analyzes events and transactions. Okay, they analyze and then record it. Okay, so right, and after recording, they prepare the financial statements. Right, and auditing, what does it? Reviews clients' internal control system. Okay, and then here accounting records and summarizes data. Okay, and what auditing does, it obtains and evaluates evidence on statement assertion. Statement assertion means what has been asserted in the statement. In other words, what has been recorded in the financial statements. That is nothing but the assertion of the company, the accountants of the company. ओके, असर्शन यानी हम बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं ये हम ठोक बजा के बोल रहे हैं कि ये सही है करके. आपके बैलेंस शीट में लिखा है आपका एसेट्स का वैल्यू 20 लाख है, तो आपका असर्शन. ओके, दैट्स एन असर्शन. ओके, so here in auditing, what they do, obtain and evaluate evidence on statement assertions. यहाँ पे here they will record, यहाँ पे ये recording के पीछे what is the proof that they will see. इस तरह से relation निकल के आ रहा है. See, these two are related. We're trying to find out the relations. Here they make financial statement assertions. Each value of the financial statement is nothing but an assertion. Okay, ये financial statement assertions बनाते हैं. Okay, record करते हैं, and what auditing does it? It determines fairness of statements. Okay, in conformity with the recognized accounting principles. So they say accounting says this financial statement is correct. When they prepare a financial statement, that means they're saying that this is correct. Okay, and what auditing does is it just checks whether their assertions are fair or not. Okay, that's how the relation comes out. Okay, ये prepares financial statements, prepare audit report on finding. Okay, so basically the audit report is again based on the financial statements. Okay, they prepare it, and what auditing does it? It comments further on that, whether it is correct or not and all that. Okay, okay, and then in the end, when everything is prepared, distribute financial statement and auditor's report to shareholders. Okay, ये क्या करते हैं? Financial statement and auditor's report, it is distributed to the shareholders in the end. Okay, or what auditing, what it does is once audit is over, it will deliver report to the client. Whoever is the appointing authority, they will give report to them only. Right, and in chronological order, if you see, then accounting is first, and after accounting ends, auditing starts. Okay, and here again the other way around, auditing starts when accounting ends. So this is basically the relation between the two. Okay, let's see the difference between the two now. Okay, so accounting basically क्या है? It is your collection, classifying, summarization of all your ledger accounts. When you do all that, you will be able to prepare financial statements. है ना? In the accounting में, you start from bookkeeping, you then prepare the accounts. Finally, based on that, you prepare financial statements. That is the accounting process. And what is auditing? Auditing is an analytical and critical examination of books of accounts, records, and financial statements. This is preparation, and this is critical examination of that. ठीक है, ये preparation है, ये critical examination. Okay. Accounting is recording of transactions at the time of occurrence. Okay? As soon as it has occurred, they will record it. Auditing is post-mortem examination, right? It's already recorded and they are checking. Okay? It measures business in monetary terms, okay? Records them and communicates the financial results through financial statements. Okay, right? So it records and communicates the financial results through financial statements. That is the end result of the process. Okay. Auditing, what it does is it reviews financial records, okay, and forms an opinion on the authenticity of the end product prepared here. Okay, okay. So next point is four. Okay. So here for preparing accounts, who is responsible? Yeah, the accountants do prepare accounts, ठीक है, लेकिन जो इसका primary responsibility होता है management का. Primary responsibility is that of the management. Okay, and they are responsible towards whom? Towards the owners, right? Okay, so primary response, if the accounting system is very shabby, then who is responsible? Management is responsible. And here auditor is independent. Okay, so he as such he is not answerable to any one person directly. Like management is answerable to shareholders. Okay, so he is answerable only to the appointing authority, whoever is appointing him, right? Okay, and then here accountant doesn't review the report. Okay, so auditor reviews financial statements, so that is one difference. Accountant works for or under the management. Okay, auditor is an independent person and he is answerable basically whoever is using his report. Okay, it can be owners, shareholders, okay, and management. These three parties will be affected by his report. Okay, so as such he doesn't work under anyone. Accountant works under the management. Okay, so and here accountant doesn't have liability to third parties. He reports to the manager and his liability is limited to the manager, but in some cases auditor can be liable to third parties also. Okay, so auditor, because of audit report, if anyone has had any problem or liability, okay, then they can sue the auditor, so he will have liabilities towards third parties also. Okay, and accounting is done as per IAS, sorry, Indian accounting standards, which is IND AS. IAS is International Accounting Standards. Okay, accounting is done as per IND accounting standards, and auditing is done as per Statement of Standards on Auditing, which is SA. Okay, so these are the differences. Again, from this, pick up any 5 points, more than enough for you. Okay, then now we're talking about the auditor. ठीक है, अब बात करेंगे next time auditor के बारे में. Okay, so who is auditor? Who conducts the audit? The person who conducts the audit is the auditor, right? He should be professionally qualified. We know that. And as per Companies Act 2013, only CAs who are professionally qualified, it is passed the final exam of CA and possess certificate of practice, which is called COP. Okay, valid COP, can audit the accounts of companies. For companies, a CA must also have a COP. Okay, so that is about an auditor. Now let's see the qualities of a successful auditor. Okay, so what makes successful auditor? One is he should have sound knowledge of various disciplines like accountancy, economics, mathematics, statistics, all that. Okay, for audit, he will need not just accounting knowledge, but some other knowledges of other disciplines also. Okay, then next is integrity, objectivity, and independence. Integrity means he should never compromise, right? So that is integrity. Objectivity means he should be very quick in identifying, any difference between this and that. Should be very objective. Okay. Subjective means when, you are talking in a theoretical manner. Objective means where, you can directly make something or someone accountable. Okay. So he should be objective and independent also, right? And he must have knowledge of law governing the auditing enterprise. Like example, for company, he should know Companies Act relevant things. Okay. So, and then if it is governed by Banking Regulation Act or Insurance Act, right? So then he should have at least some knowledge of it. Should have enough knowledge of it. Okay, good enough for his work, right? So ये तीन चीज हो गया हमारा क्वालिटीज ऑफ अ सक्सेसफुल ऑडिटर. ओके, तो पहले हमने क्या कहा, उसको अकाउंटिंग, इकोनॉमिक्स, मैथमेटिक्स इसका भी नॉलेज होना चाहिए. इंटेग्रिटी, objectivity and independence. Okay, this is second one. Third is law का knowledge होना चाहिए. Okay, and fourth is understanding of peculiar features of business. So he must understand how the business works. Only then he can really find the he can get to the bottom of the flow of transactions. Okay, understanding peculiar features of business. Okay, SA 300 revised and SA there is nothing. SA 310 is SA 315 actually. Okay, issued by ICAI to cover this. Okay, so that's all. So in the end we will have little bit of discussion on some essays. Okay, standards of auditing. Okay, some of these we will discuss in the end. Which one? ये जो standards हैं, all this. So some of these they will discuss. So here they are talking about this audit planning, section 300, and there's no 310, there's 315. Okay, risk of material misstatement. Identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement. Okay. Now understanding the peculiar features of a business, right? And his technical knowledge must be backed by basic human qualities. Okay, ये बहुत important है. Auditor is not a machine. Okay, in the end, to really understand a company, okay, and its workers, okay, he should be empathetic. Okay, so he should know what are the problems of people's and all that. So he must have a basic human quality. If that human quality is not there, he will not become a highly successful auditor. This is what has been observed of one of the of some of the best successful auditors. They also had human qualities. Okay, so technical knowledge must be backed by human qualities. Last में जो है ना, ये एक बहुत important sentence है, ये बहुत famous है rather. Okay, it's a famous sentence. London and General Bank case में Lord Justice Lindley. Okay, this is very famous. Lord Justice Lindley. Okay, he said an auditor must be honest and must not certify what he does not believe to be true. ठीक है, honest होना चाहिए, और जो उसको गलत लग रहा है उसको सर्टिफाई नहीं करना चाहिए. और अगर सर्टिफाई कर रहा है कोई भी चीज को, इसके आगे बोल रहे हैं कि अगर वो सर्टिफाई कर रहा है किसी को, if he is certifying something to be true, then take reasonable care and skill before he believes that it is true. ठीक है, so ये उन्होंने ये समराइज किया उन्होंने कि क्वालिटीज ऑफ सक्सेसफुल ऑडिटर. Okay, Lord Justice Lindley. Okay, that auditor must be honest and must not certify what he does not believe to be true, and must take reasonable care and skill before he believes what he certifies is true. ठीक है, right? जो जिस चीज पे भरोसा नहीं आ रहा है उसको सर्टिफाई नहीं करना है, और कोई भी चीज को जब वो सर्टिफाई करता है उसके पहले he must take reasonable care and skill so that he believes that it is true, and only then he certifies it. ठीक है, so बोलते हैं ना, मैं सच कहूंगा, सच के सिवा कुछ नहीं कहूंगा. So auditor will certify only the truth and nothing but the truth. Okay, this is what we can say. अब अगला एक चीज के बारे में हम बात करेंगे जिसको कहा जाता है इन्वेस्टिगेशन. ओके, इट्स कॉल्ड एज इन्वेस्टिगेशन. So now auditing or investigation, that's some basic differences I'll tell you. ठीक है. Auditing में क्या होता है? Auditing में the auditor comes, ठीक है, he sees the books and financial statements. ठीक है. Okay, he checks the internal control system and all that. Okay, and then he certifies in the end. Okay, this is the general process. So just coming and seeing that everything is okay. His intention is not to come to prove that a manager, Mr. A, is a fraud. So this is not his objective. Okay, to prove that this person is fraud, that person has siphoned off some money. उसके लिए नहीं आ रहा है, वो he's just coming and he's just seeing that everything is fine or not. Okay, जैसे आप इनके ऊपर से आप इन जनरल यू कैन जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट कि स्कूल वगैरह में सब मेनी टाइम्स अर्लियर वी यूज्ड टू हैव डॉक्टर्स कमिंग इन. ठीक है, दे यूज्ड टू एडमिनिस्टर कॉलरा वैक्सीन्स एंड ऑल दैट, है ना. ठीक है, कॉलरा वैक्सीन्स. इवन नाउ अभी तो वी नो कोविड वैक्सीन्स, ऑल ऑफ अस वुड हैव टेकन दैट, है ना. So COVID vaccines वगैरह में, when we go to such people, if there are doctors, they will not check your entire body and everything, right? They'll just, their job is to administer vaccines to you, right? Similarly, auditor will see all these things. Okay, he'll see it from a general point of view, comment on that. Okay, he'll certify and go over. Investigator is given a contract saying something. When he is given a contract saying, I think Mr. A is a fraud. Now you find out the proof for him. So starting with an opinion that Mr. A is a fraud. So investigation is particular. Okay, auditing is general. Auditor is like these doctors who are administering cholera vaccines or our COVID vaccines. Okay, they will not check you for all your ailments and all that. Okay, and so investigator is like your personal doctor. He is your private doctor. If you are going to him with something, he'll check you for everything, all these things in detail. Okay, he'll check with a suspicion that what you are saying, you are sick for that. Okay, but this doctor will administer a vaccine thinking that you are not sick, you are fine, all directions have been given already. Okay, and you have got no body temperature, so you are fine and you have come for vaccine. Okay, he'll not spend half an hour with you talking about all your medical history and all that. Okay, so now with this we can just talk about audit and investigation. It is also very important process. Investigation का कुछ तो आता ही है. Okay, so something or the other comes about investigation. Next we are talking about audit and investigation. Okay, so very important. So we'll just learn it in a very simple way. Just remember it like that. Okay, simple ढंग से याद रखना है. So both have a fact-finding character, right? In auditing also you are trying to find out the facts, okay? And in investigation also you are doing it, right? And both involve systematic and critical examination of available evidence, but they are distinct from each other. How? Okay. First thing is just tell the meaning, rather something like the definition, okay? So auditing is what systematic and independent examination to ascertain the true and fair view of the financial statements. ठीक है, auditing is का main जो होता है ना main purpose is to ascertain the true and fair view of the financial statements. The financial statements depict a true and fair view of state of affairs. Okay, right? This is audit and investigation में क्या था? What I told you. Okay, it is an examination of accounts or records with a view to ascertain any fact. He's already been given a fact, and the person wants him to get some evidence on that. Okay, and for some special purpose always. Okay, we always have an objective which is special, as to auditor's objective which is general. Okay, scope, wide scope. They'll check all books of accounts. They'll check. They'll interview the managers. Okay, they'll check financial statements. They'll do ratio analysis. Okay, so wide scope. And in statutory audit, scope is determined by the relevant law. Okay, so scope is determined by the relevant law, and for private audit, by the client. Okay, for example, management audit, they'll say whatever the management does. Okay, so this is the scope always. Okay, so as we had seen earlier, if you're doing company audit, then Companies Act will determine the scope of audit. Okay, so but if it's a private audit, then client will determine. So, but the scope overall is it's very wide. What all is going to search, what all is going to find or check, it's all very wide. And here it is limited. Okay, so if say this investigator is investigating if Mr. A is fraud or not, okay, then he doesn't need to see at those transactions where Mr. A is not involved at all. Correct. So straight away say Mr. A might be involved in let us say only 5% of the transactions is there. Other 95 he has nothing to do with. Okay. So those 95% straight away this auditor can take out. Correct. Which is where scope is limited. Okay. So पहले इसमें what we said, just in audit, just give the small definition that it is concerned with true and fair view of the state of affairs, and this is examination, detailed examination. Okay, for some special purpose, and wide scope, limited scope. Here it's wide scope, limited scope. Objective is true and fair view of accounts here. Here it is some special purpose. For example, for incoming partner. Okay, if a new partner wants to join a firm, he can do some investigation on the firm, seeing whether whether his investment will be safe or not for that. Or other way around, the firm also can do an investigation on him to just find out whether he's the right person or not. Okay, so this was special purpose. Okay, so I've just cut it short compared to your study material so you can remember easily. Okay, आपको लिखना भी ऐसे याद भी करना है short में, should remember, and if you want you can expand a bit. Okay, just based on this you can expand if needed. Audit procedure conducted as per generally accepted accounting principles. Okay, and here extended auditing procedure. Extended means normally in auditing you will say if you are going to do a sample check. Okay, out of 100 you are going to check 20 entries. Okay, but in investigation you will check all 100 entries. Okay, so evidence, persuasive evidence. Okay, persuasive means you will only follow a lead which will persuade you to go towards that. Okay, यानी आपने कुछ चीजें आप चेक कर रहे हो, you have checked financial statements, you have checked accounts and all that, and everything is looking okay. There's nothing looks wrong. There is no such suggestion seeing the accounts that something is wrong there. So you will not go further there. So इसको बोलते हैं persuasive. But if you are seeing something is suggesting you that no, there's something wrong here, there you will go inside. So that is called persuasive evidence. It's persuading. Whatever the books are persuading you, based on that you are moving. Okay, you are not forming an opinion. And here, evidence is substantial. Okay, and sometimes it is conclusive evidence. But they mostly need conclusive evidence to prove facts. Okay, and they will go ahead based on persuasive evidence. Okay. Then approach, auditor is skeptical and not suspicious. Skeptical means he has to be alert about anything which is right or wrong, whatever, he has to be alert. Skeptical means being alert. Suspicious means like this person is suspicious. Before itself, he knows that I want to investigate Mr. A. Okay. So he starts with suspicion and collects evidence to either confirm or dispel it. Okay. Periodicity, auditing is a routine exercise. We know normally either quarterly or half yearly, yearly. Okay. But normally it is annual audit. Okay. Annually, it's conducted annually. And investigation, see, normally it runs for 3 years, 4 years. Once the investigation starts, okay, to get all the proof and to interview everyone, all the people involved and all that, okay, it takes time. Okay, so for investigation, there is no period as such. It's not a routine exercise. He'll not come and every year he'll not come and just for the sake of it investigate this person. Next year he'll investigate that person. It doesn't happen like that. If he gets a special contract of investigation, he'll investigate that special person. Okay, and that one investigation can run for 2-3 years also. Okay, so this is it. Now I think, yeah, I'll just finish this small part of it. ठीक है, एक छोटा सा पार्ट है aspects to be covered in audit of financial statements. ठीक है, what are the aspects to be covered in audit? ठीक है, audit में क्या क्या चीजें cover होनी चाहिए? Okay, one is, say, first thing what he should do is, first step is develop understanding of internal control. Okay, so one is accounting and internal control system. ठीक है, develop understanding of internal control system and degree of reliance that can be placed on the information. ठीक है, तो पहला है देखिएगा कि इंटरनल कंट्रोल सिस्टम कैसा है, how is internal control system and how much reliability can be placed on it. Okay, see, this is the first thing. Now second is examination of books records. Then he'll check arithmetical accuracy. Okay, and and what he'll do is he'll check the vouchers and underlying evidence. Okay, we'll check the books with vouchers. Okay, underlying papers, documents, other evidence, all that. Okay, and ensure that no entry is omitted. Okay, all entries have been properly put into the books of accounts and they have been properly taken to the final accounts. Okay, and there is nothing in the financial statements which is not there in the books. Okay, that also he has to see. And then third is compliance with Ind AS and statutory regulations. Okay, just to comply with this, distinctions between capital and revenue items, just to see whether principles have been properly followed, like capital and revenue items have been distinguished. Okay, and if they have declared dividend before that, they've complied with the Companies Acts and rules, all that. Okay, so compliance with Ind AS and statutory regulations. Okay, last thing is reporting. After all these things are complete, he will report. He'll report to the appropriate personal body. Okay, normally the shareholders. Okay, normally it will be the shareholders he'll report to. Right, and what the report will state, that his opinion that it is the financial position, okay, that is balance sheet, operating results, the profit, okay, both of them show a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the concern. Okay, so this is what he shows. ठीक है, समझ में आ गया? तो ये जो है, ये क्या था, हमने क्या किए, aspects to be covered in audit of financial statements. If you get a question like this, aspects to be covered, these 4 things you have to write. Just remember the points. Okay, accounting and internal control system. Aspect is how is the audit distributed? What are the main stages of audit is what they are asking. One is we'll check accounting and internal control system. Okay, whether it's proper. Then he'll examine all books of accounts, records, vouchers, all that. Okay. Then he'll see compliance with Ind AS and Companies Act in case of company. Okay. And then in the end, he'll report. He'll give a final report stating it is showing the true and fair view of state of affairs. What? Balance sheet and P&L. Okay. So ये हो गया. तो यहाँ पे will end this lecture. I'll just say continue. ठीक है. So we're going to next lecture. We're going to start with objectives of auditing now. Okay. So thank you. I'll meet you soon. Okay. Thank you.